All right, episode 195 of the Followtonians. Eric here in Overland Park, Kansas, Ped in Old Swan, Liverpool, and we are here coming at you from the first Sunday after the first full moon, after the vernal equinox. It's a great day to be an Everton fan, Ped. How are you?
It's a great day. It's resurrection, Eric. It's resurrection.
He has risen.
You have
Roberto Martinez has
three wins,
gotten us out of the relegation battle.
3 wins in a row, and you are resurrected.
Yes.
Praise the Lord, brother. Praise the
All of a
Lord.
sudden, the School of Science is back. It's Ali Alio. It's happy times in the, well, not the Gladys streets for you, Ped, is it?
Yeah, I was in the Gladys Street yesterday.
Who was sending out pictures from the other side of the park then on our
No,
account?
no. I was in the Gladys Street yesterday. I was just in a different seat in the Gladys Street yesterday. That's all.
Oh,
I was,
okay.
I
You were
was just in
shifted over one, sitting where I sat 3 years ago.
No, I was right in the corner. I was right in the corner by the disabled section, just behind that. It was a
Okay.
unique perspective on the game. I didn't wholly like it. It was too close to the pitch, and I don't like being too low down because you can't see what's actually going on. It's exciting and it's different, and you almost feel like you're on the pitch, but
Mm-hmm.
for actually watching the game, I didn't like it. It's just you just can't watch how the game is unfolding. It's interesting actually because you do get a lot of different opinions from different people who sit at different vantage points in the ground. You know,
Right.
you'll have people. I used to sit in the top balcony years ago, and the top balcony is it's brilliant if you're into tactical football. If you want to watch how play develops and how movements of players, and it's great from
Yeah.
a analytical point of view. You can just track players around the pitch and see what their movement is. It's Gladys Street's really great for atmosphere, and also you get a good vantage. And
But if you want to stare at like Leighton Baines' rear side, I'm sure your seat was great for that for half of a match.
yeah, Coleman mostly playing right back was he got really close and stuff, but no, it was different, quite unique, quite a different take on the game, and I suppose at this stage of the season you're looking for different things because we are sort of hitting that sort of flip flop
Yeah,
period.
the we're at on 37 points now, 12 points clear of 18th, and we're able to breathe, but there's nothing to do but just make sure that gap below us is still there.
Yeah, listen, I mean, obviously we didn't do a show after the QPR game. Um, we haven't been very consistent on shows lately, but there are reasons behind why we haven't been very consistent. We don't want to bore anyone with our shows. It's not that we're going away. It's just that Eric certainly had a hectic couple of months, and we should
Yeah.
have done some after the QPR game, but we didn't. But the QPR game was sort of the game where I felt like that was it. We were safe, and listen, I mean, the QPR game was a very, very poor game, but we won. We done what we needed to do, and yesterday was interesting because I thought we were safe. We'd had that little international break. Okay, we weren't mathematically safe, but it felt like you look at the teams below us, and they are all quite poor, and we don't really expect them to get anywhere near 30, 34 points the way it's looking. And that's hard to almost motivate yourself for these kind of games because
Right.
Southampton, yes, they've still got something to play for, but at the same time, they do look like they're running out of steam, and um, I suppose it's hard when you go into those games, and it's going to be hard for the rest of the season. But what this team do is, we deserve some performances out of them, and yesterday,
Yeah.
we got a different kind of performance. It wasn't an overly great game, but we got a different kind of performance out to them, and it was a type of performance that if we'd had more of them in the season and we'd had more of them around Christmas period, I think we'd be, still challenging for Europe because Europe could definitely drop to 7th this year. And I think if we'd had a few more of these performances, I think we could and should have been challenging for a Europa League place. But
Yeah.
alas, we never happened that way.
Yeah, yesterday was not a very technically sound match from Everton's standpoint. There was a lot of grit, and there's a lot of grit from both sides. A lot of um, hard challenges, a lot of going after the every loose ball, giving it all you can, and it kind of started early on. And with your seat, you must have had a really great angle as to whether or not the little flick on from Pele was going in or not when Tim Howard makes a massive save early on in the match.
Yeah, I mean, before we come on to that save, I thought for the first 15, 20 minutes, I thought Southampton were magnificent. They really were. I thought they set up on us straight away. They look physically a very strong team. And we spoke about all season about our left hand side, and I thought Klein was superb. I mean, he was playing like Coleman was last year at his best. He was
Sure.
playing so far up against Baines, it was unbelievable. And Osman had the job of tracking him, and for the first 20 minutes, Osman couldn't get near him, and he was causing so much trouble down that right hand side. His right hand side. I thought he was absolutely brilliant. I mean, he won't be at Southampton very long. He'll be with one of the big boys soon, and which is sad because you want the best players to be spread out. Really, you want it to be as much as competition as possible. But he won't be at Southampton very long, I don't think. And it came from that right hand side. Him and Ward Prowse were really working really well down that right. And as you mentioned, the ball comes over from the right hand side, and really Howard should have dealt with this. He should have come and took it. He did leave himself in no man's land. He
Right.
put himself in a position where he had sort of no chance of getting the cross, but also he should have had no chance of making this save. And I
Sure.
suppose that's what makes the save so good, is because his positioning was so bad that
And he was
he
able to recover from it and make something spectacular out of it.
well, listen, it was an incredible save. I will give him that. He made an absolutely incredible save. Okay, he made the mistake in the first place, but he made an absolutely incredible reflex stop to stop that ball going into the net. Because I think if they took the lead there, I think it would have been very, very hard for us to get back in the game, because they were putting so much pressure on us, and they were really, really getting into us for that first 15 minutes. And it was magnificent save. And it's there's saves that we've talked about all season, that you make saves like that, you win or help win the game for your team. And that's what we haven't had enough of from Tim Howard this season. But I've
Sure.
got to give him full credit. It was absolutely amazing reflexes. Certainly, his save of the season, and probably one of the saves of the season. It was absolutely stunning. So fair play to Tim Howard for that. I mean, it doesn't really change my mind on the goalkeeping situation, but
Oh, come on.
no, I'm sorry. I'm not one of these people who's just going to go, well, he made one great save. So it was an incredible save, and I will give him that. Absolutely superb. And he makes another one later. After about 35 minutes as well, he makes another save where the shot. He does it again. He causes the issue. He goes too far to his right, and the ball swings back, and he does make again a great stop with his fist. So fair play to him. He made saves where previous games, when he makes mistakes, they generally lead to goals. So
Sure.
fair play. He made two stunning saves, and full credit to him. Best one on your
Let's
goal.
let's talk about Everton's goal, because it was from a corner, and that is definitely something we have not seen this year.
Definitely. Well, we've seen one against Dynamo Kiev, didn't we?
Well, yeah,
But you know what? I'll tell you why. Um, one of the reasons we got this goal is because normally when this corners come in, we never get the first header on them ever. We never
right.
get near it. And John Stones, if you watch this cornering, John Stones throws himself at it. He doesn't get a clean connection, but he's dragged a player with him, and it comes off the combination of the two of them. Barry keeps it
Also there,
alive.
yeah,
Barry keeps it alive, puts it across the box, and Jags just sticks a leg out and puts it in the net. And it's because Stones is throwing himself at it. If you watch corners when we take them, it's not always the corner. It's the people in the box, and I'll tell you why. I'll give you a reason why, or an example. You watch when Alcatraz plays for us.
Alcatraz.
That's what he should be, anyway. That's what he should be. You watch when
Right.
he plays. You watch when he plays for us, right? He wins nearly every single header in the box, attacking the ball because he does. He attacks the ball. That can't be a coincidence that he's winning the ball. That's saying more about him than it is about the actual set pieces. So therefore, the set pieces are not necessarily the problem. It's the people in the box attacking the ball, keeping the ball alive, and that's what John Stones did. He kept that ball alive. He went for it. Okay, it didn't hit him on the head, and it hit him on the shoulder or something, but the ball was kept alive because he went for it. And luckily enough, Barry and Jagielka find a way to put it in the net. And sometimes that's all you need when you're in the box. You just need to keep the ball alive, and probably a little bit of panic because they've got a new goalkeeper as well, and
Sure.
and little things like that can cause problems. And full credit to them for doing that. Or players maybe thinking we're going to make sure we make the most of this, because I come from a time when we had centre halves who scored double figures from corners.
Right.
Derek Mountfield I think the year we won the league, he scored 13 or 14 goals from a centre back. I mean, just think about that. That is a massive chunk of goals. That's what wins you trophies.
Sure.
I remember Dave Watson used to score from them. Jolie. Everyone can remember Jolie and Lescott and how many goals he used to get from centre back. Set pieces and corners. We simply don't score enough goals to centre back. John Stones still hasn't scored a goal. People still see him as a young lad, but this is a lad now who's been around for a year and still hasn't got anywhere near looking to get a goal. And normally players will always find a way to get one. So Jags has chipped in with a few this season, but again, not enough for my liking. And obviously that we always talk about the set pieces and how sort of bad we are on them. So
Right.
that's what we've got to do when the ball goes in there. We've got to keep it alive. We've got to give opportunity. I mean, look at Chelsea, the amount of goals that John Terry and Cahill score.
Yep.
They're
Absolutely.
not always from direct headers from the set piece. A lot of them are from the second ball, and you find that with a lot of good teams, they keep the ball alive in the box, and we haven't done that this season. We
Yeah.
tend
Even
to just
across the park. I mean, Skirtle's scored quite a few. Um, yeah, it's just something that we're not usually getting this season. So something to look forward. Hopefully, we can build upon and get more production out of them next season, in the rest of this season. One guy that I wanted to mention that stood out for me is Aaron Lennon. In this match, he's all over the park in a good way, tracking back, relieving pressure off of Coleman, uh, and just stepping in, winning balls, taking the ball away, uh, putting pressure on the defense, just making them turn their shoulders and have to run after him and chase after him. And man, he is quick, and it's nice to see that speed in the side.
what I like about Aaron Lennon. the decision's going to have to be made about his future. And what I like about him is how high he presses. You've just mentioned it there. How he presses so high. He gets to the fullback with his speed and puts pressure on them.
Mm-hmm.
He gets to the centre back and puts pressure on them because he's so fast. His movements, over the ground is so quick that a player thinks they've got time, and before you know it, he's on them, and he's willing to do that. And we've seen that when we played Newcastle and he won us the penalty. One of their players just got the ball, it's a knockers, he nicks in and gets it, and before you know it, it's a goal. He's so quick across the ground. That's what I really like, and I think that's something we've really missed this season is an ability to press the opposition. We don't do it. We just haven't done it all season. We don't stop crosses. We allow players far too much time, and Lennon just doesn't allow that. And there's a saying, you defend from the front. You defend from the front. You put pressure on their centre backs. I mean, how many times this season have we been caught with the ball in our own half and it's led to a goal? I mean, how many? It's happened so many times this season. Defensive players are not necessarily renowned for being comfortable on the ball. I mean, obviously they're a lot better than the average player, but in the Premier League. But they still don't have the presence to just be able to knock it round. They've got to get their head up. They've got to use valuable time up, and Lennon just doesn't give them any time. And if you can nick that ball quite early, you're going to win it back. And when you win it back, you're already in the opposition half. And you're already on the run. We used to have Andy Johnson. Now Andy Johnson wasn't a brilliant striker by any means, but his work ethic was just magnificent, and he was used very much. There was a model of a way that Moyes used to like to play, and he obviously liked having 5 in midfield, with 4 with Kale, and then he'd have. We had Marcus Bent was sort of like his first one. Marcus Bent wasn't a great centre forward by any means, but he chased and he harried and he got his rewards. And he bettered him by bringing in Andy Johnson. And again, Andy Johnson had a decent goal scoring record, but it was the fact that you could hit a ball in the channel, and he would get you a corner or a throw, and you're in the opposition half with possession. Now that's not everyone's cup of tea of playing football. But there are times when you need to play that style, or there are times when you just need to win the ball back from the opposition. And I'd rather try and win the ball back when they've got the ball in their half than try and win it back when they're on our edge of the area attacking. So that's what Lennon gives you. So we'll wait and see to see if how much he convinces Roberto Martinez that he should be at the club next season.
$6 million.
I don't think the 6 million is that much money. I mean, it's a drop in the ocean, really, nowadays. Let's be honest. I mean, he should be hitting his peak now. I'm not completely convinced by his end result, his final cross or his goal scoring ability. But 6 million still isn't a lot of money, and when you roll off the TV money. The money they're getting from the TV money, 6 million shouldn't really be that much of a problem. And if it is the problem, then we've got bigger problems. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. So if we can't afford 6 million for a dynamic player like Aaron Lennon, then we're back to where we were like 4 years ago, just struggling to pay wages and selling players to be able to afford paying payments on interest on loans. So
and the other thing is, he's starting nearly every game. He's starting every game. So what does that say about him? That Martinez obviously likes him.
McGeady's nowhere close to being in.
Listen, McGeady hasn't got an end product, and he doesn't. He's not fast. He tries to do what Lennon does, but he's just not fast enough to do it, and he never looks fit. Now Morales is sitting on the bench, and Morales certainly doesn't put the work in. Now Morales is a better player. He is a better player. He's got a better end product. But listen, does he do it all the time, or has he done it all the time? No, he does it in periods. and when he is flying, he normally gets injured. So that says it all. And the probability is Morales won't be at the club next season. I mean,
Right.
that's just the top and bottom of it. Let's be honest. So um, I'd love to see Aaron Lennon finish the season strong, get a few more goals, maybe a couple of assists, and just finish the season strong. I want him to convince us that he's worth £6 million. You can't just say, well, it's defensively he's great, or but let's hope he certainly seems to be trying his hardest to earn that contract anyway.
Yeah, I almost kind of tend to make parallels between him and Donovan's second loan spell with the club. Just the work rate and the effort that's there is very similar to me. In addition to the positions they played, I mean, of course, but yeah, it would be good just to see these last 7 matches and what he can do in them for us.
No, that's a really good comparison. Yeah, I think he does give us a lot of what Landon Donovan sort of did. Yeah, at his time with the club. Listen, I don't £6 million. It's not a lot of money in the Premier League anymore. It really isn't.
Right.
And if we're sort of, and I know people will go, well, you're buying someone else's cast-offs, but Martinez has seen a position for him, or certainly feels like he can help other players play their jobs better, and that's what you need sometimes. And so we'll wait and see them. I think he's definitely.
If we can get an Aaron Lennon that we got in this match, every match, is it Aaron Lennon or Kevin Morales for you?
Well, as I say, I mean, Kevin Morales. Again, what's he just missed? He just missed 2 or 3 games, and I just don't think Kevin Morales is going to be at the club next season. I just can't see it. I just can't see it. And a cameo now and again is just not really good enough, is it?
Yeah. Should McCarthy have scored?
In the first half?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he probably should have
scored too.
I think he probably should have. But listen, we had 1 shot and got 1 goal. It wasn't a very pretty game.
Yeah, we're filling a lot of space here with talking about players, because there were quite a few individual efforts that were of note. I mean, Stones did a really great job. Stones and Jags did a great job when crosses were not allowed to come in easily. Coleman, I thought, tracked back very well, kept the pace of their left side under check for most of the match. They didn't have any joy from the left at all, and so that was good to see. Barkley just put his head down and ran at people.
Defensively, I thought we were brilliant. As I said, the first 15-20 minutes.
It was great to see.
We're really under the cushion. We went back to old school defending. It was really nice to see. Stones now and again putting his foot through it, and it was nice to see. It was old fashioned, just doing what you need to do to get a win. And you just mentioned Ross Barkley there. I thought Ross had a decent game. I think he's getting better and better. Over here on Match of the Day, Ruud Hullet was analysing the game, and one thing that he pointed out was how much energy that Ross wastes in the game.
Yeah.
And, I think he's spot on. I think he does waste a lot of energy. I think he runs around chasing things that he doesn't need to chase. He shouldn't be doing that, to be honest. He should just concentrate on doing what he needs to do and laying. When he came on for England the other night, I thought he was great. I thought everything was perfect. He just wanted the ball. He was getting the ball and giving the ball. And it's not like that when he plays for Everton. He's not allowed he doesn't play in that same position where everything goes through. And that's what we need to start seeing from Ross, and whether that's a change that the manager has to allow, or that's something that he has to start doing himself. But when he came on for England, he just seemed to want to impress in the right way. He just wanted the ball, giving it and getting it, giving and getting it.
Yeah, he
I
was
think
coming back very low to pick up the ball in situations yesterday, um, to where he felt like he had to come back in order to just get involved. So
mm, but there's one in the first half where he was in his own half and he went through a couple of players and then played it out wide. And again, if he'd lost it there, he would have lost it in a really dangerous position. He doesn't need to do that. All he needs to do in that position is give a dead simple 5 yard pass and then
make a run.
run, make a run, get the ball back, and then start doing all that kind of thing. I think that's what Ross has got to learn. But again, who's helping him? Why is he not learning that? Why isn't he being coached that? Or because that seems to be the biggest problem with Ross Barkley at the moment, is that I'm sure they are coaching him that, but it doesn't seem to be sinking in. And I think that's what he's got to. When he gets over that sort of that hump, he'll be such a good player. I think a lot of people fear that he'll never get over that hump, and he'll always be this player, this sort of schoolyard, flat
Right.
track bully kind of
Is that
player.
when he gets over that hump, turning into if he gets over that hump in people's minds?
That's it. I mean, that's it. If he can get away from that, he can be whatever he wants. But at the moment, he's still in a lot of people's eyes a player with potential, a schoolyard player, a player who doesn't see the whole picture, a player who just sees what's in front of him at the time. Sees a
What's it?
player to he sees a player that he's got to beat, and then he sees another player that he's got to beat. Great players see the whole pitch. They
Hmm.
don't just see that one player to beat, because what happens is, and I'd say what this is a perfect comparison, right? You get to 29 and you're still Aidan McGeady. That's the comparison. You're
Right.
you're you're still you get to 29 and you're still trying to take everyone on, but you haven't got the legs to do it, and you haven't got the pace to do it, and you haven't got the skill to do it. And that's what Ross has got to get through. He's got to get through that. He's got to lean to simplify his game in areas of the pitch where it's not needed, and then go up the pitch 10 yards and then start doing it. That's the thing he's got to learn, because
Is it extra training? Is it extra video work? Is it just maturity? Is
I
it
honestly couldn't say. I can't say. I can't say because I'm not in that environment. But I'm sure they're coaching him that. But that was a perfect example. I think that's the first time I've seen someone actually pick that up on TV. Is that how much effort he wastes, and how much and we know because we see it, but
yeah.
the sometimes it
And there
takes.
was
I don't
one
know.
moment where he tracked back on the left in front of Baines. That was really brilliant. But
But that's fair enough. I
should
mean,
number
that's what.
10 be doing that?
But that's what
Or
I
should
mean.
he have to be doing that?
He's not. He's not. But that's the other problem, isn't it? He's not an out-and-out number 10. He's not being played as an out-and-out number 10. Against QPR, we played Kone almost as a number 10, and I was screaming for Ross to come on and play in that position. That's, for me, where he should be playing.
Right.
But he's not. He's playing just. Yes, he played more just as one of the midfielders, and yeah, it suits him a little bit more. But as I say, he's got to get past this stage in his career where he's a kid full of potential and full of skill. He's got to get past that. He's got to move up to the next level now.
Okay,
'Cause
so
we've
will
all
he
seen kids.
and will he be at Everton when it happens?
If he doesn't get, for me, if he doesn't move up to that next level, I don't know if anyone will buy him. But
Right.
but there'll be managers out there who feel like he can only get to the next level if he does move up. So it's
Yeah.
so it's
Catch
it's
22.
yeah, and his agent might be. I'm not saying he is. I'm just saying some agents, and we'll talk about agents in a bit. Will be in players' ears going, "Listen, it's not happening for you here. Managers playing you the wrong way. Look how good you are, man." I mean, we all know this week how young players, can be influenced by the looks of it, and we certainly don't have that problem. But it can easily happen. An agent can say, "Listen, it's not happening for you here. You're not getting played the way you want to be played." Next season, is going to be massive for Ross Barkley next season. Can't have two poor seasons in a row, no matter what the excuse. It doesn't look like he's going the under-21s in the summer, so that's a really big thing. Because if you think about it, really, there aren't that many players in the Premier League this season who went to the World Cup who've had good seasons.
Right.
There's not many.
No.
You know, and the ones that
especially for Everton.
Well, for everybody, there's not many players.
Right.
No one's had like a really good season who went to that World Cup last season. No, in the summer, there's nobody. Anyone. You look at someone like he played. How many games did he play? What, like 1.5 games?
1.5, yeah.
So, okay. But he hasn't had a. But he's
fallen off, yeah.
But has he had a great season? Because I don't think since January, I don't think he scored that many goals. I think players who went to the World Cup have really struggled.
Grasping at straws there. But,
no, I mean that's a fair enough. He set off like house on fire, but he's tapered off. And then you've got other players who started really slow, who are starting to pick it up now, who went to the World Cup. But there's no one I can think of who went to the World Cup who's having a really, really good season.
Tim Howard?
There's nobody I can think of who's had a really, really good season who went to the World Cup. There's nobody. Nobody. It's I think a lot of people have forgotten that. Players who went to the World Cup have just really just that. Look at someone like Vincent Kompany at Manchester City. He has turned into absolute crap this season. Absolute crap. So and I'm talking about this season.
Lots of injuries, lots of just subpar standards.
There's players in other countries who've been fine. Like to Messi and Ronaldo, they've been fine. But I'm talking about in the Premier League that the players have struggled. So Ross is going to have a big season next season, anyway.
Anything else with this match? Any other comments?
No, the second half was dire. We did really well to just see it out and get the 3 points and yeah, that's it. Pretty much sorted now.
Yep, 3 points, clean sheet, 37 points. Looking better than it did, a month ago.
Yeah, we're mid-table nonsense now. But what I would want to say is, what I will say is, imagine being a team.
Ed, you're allowed.
Imagine being a team that all you do is spend your
life
in the mid.
Imagine being Stoke.
Oh my God!
Imagine being Stoke.
That is a life I hope I never ever have to see again. Where you spend the whole time just plodding along in like
West Ham,
9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. Horrendous.
Swansea. We'll talk about Swansea in a little bit. We'll take a break. We'll be right back.
Spurs drew with Burnley.
Yeah.
If Newcastle beat Sunderland by a couple of goals, Sunderland will be in the bottom 3. Cool.
Because Burnley's minus 23 and Sunderland's minus 21.
Yeah.
All right, let's do this. All right, we're back on Follow-Tonians, brought to you by Apsis Services Limited. So we have to go over to Wales, to Swansea, to play a match with two teams that have really nothing to play for. Yay, exciting. Let's spend half an hour analyzing this, Ped. Should we?
No, let's spend 2 minutes analysing this.
Okay. So they're on 46 points. They're what? 7 points behind Spurs. 8 points behind Spurs.
7. 8.
Spurs is on 54 now.
Southampton, 7 points behind Southampton.
All right, 7 points behind Southampton. Okay, so yeah, 7 points in 7 matches. They're probably not going to get up into that 7th spot, which could possibly be Europa League if the FA Cup goes to the ladder.
Mm.
Yeah, they're in about the same situation we are, since we're, 5 points back of Stoke.
They've had a good season, though, Swansea. I'll give them that. I mean, a lot of people thought the wheels were going to fall off this season. Didn't have a great season last season.
Yeah,
Gary Monk's come in and steadied the ship, and I think they've had a really good season. When
yeah,
you think
knocked us
about it,
out of the League Cup, and took points off of us at Goodison, and uh, yeah. So we need
you
to
know,
go to Swansea and get some payback.
they lost Boney as well. I mean, you remember that. I mean,
Yeah,
everyone thought when they lost Boney, it was all going to go horrendously wrong. But they're doing well. They beat Hull, beating Villa recently.
everybody beat Hull.
They
Oh,
should have beat Liverpool at home as well. So they're not doing too badly. They're having a steady season. Beat Manchester United at home as well. So they're doing okay. They're having a decent season. For they're not a massive club. It's only a sort of a smallish club. So fair play to them. And as you say, they're just off. They're just in eighth now, and I would suspect they'll probably finish eighth. And eighth will be a fantastic finish for them.
yep.
So Gomez is in there now. He's scoring the goals. He's took the place of Boney, and it's going to be a very, very difficult game. I mean, it's somewhere we've never lost in the league. We did lose in the League Cup to them this year. Yes, one of our horror performances of the season. But
Ugh.
I think it's going to be quite a tough game. I really think it is. But again, it's interesting. They've got they've got 9 more points than us, and yeah, goal difference. They've only scored. They're -2 and we're -3. So that
Right.
that sort of shows you that defensively, as bad as we have been, they've only been one better, and yet they've got all them more points better than us. So
Yeah,
it's
we've
going to be
scored two more than they have, actually. They've only scored 37. We've scored 39. And they've conceded, um,
less, a lot less. Yeah.
yeah, 39, and we've conceded 42. But we've put the ball in the net more than they have.
There you go. That's what it's all
But
about. Having a decent back four and keeping clean sheets, or keeping the ball at the back, and that's what it's all about. And that's what I suppose that sort of shows you what the difference have been this season with us from other seasons, is that we couldn't keep clean sheets, or we certainly couldn't keep the ball out the back of the net. So
Lukaku possibly back to replace Kone, who was absolutely invisible in the last match. We didn't even mention him at all. Barely showed up on the heat map as far as 442 stats go. But
he's cold-blooded.
yeah, right, invisible. Was he wearing a cloak, invisible cloak?
Yeah, it's going to be a tough game. It's going to be it is sort of flip-flop time for both, but as you mentioned loads of times, there's so much money riding on each spot in the Premier League that
Sure.
we've got to keep going. And we did talk about this a couple of weeks ago, and we said, or whenever we were last on, which is like
Christmas time, right?
the game. We always said the aim is to finish in the top half. That's what you got to fight for. Now Stoke have got 5 more points than us, but that's got to be. West Ham have got 5 more points. That's got to be the aim, finishing in the top half
Finish
of the season.
so ninth.
Because every point, every place is worth what, 1.5 million.
Something
So
like
obviously,
that. So that'd be
if we can
3
finish
more
it,
million. That's half of an Aaron Lennon.
there you go. There's Aaron Lennon's right shaved eyebrow, just there.
Yes, sounds good. 5 points on both of them in the next 7 matches, possible, absolutely possible.
Definitely West Ham. They're crap. They're crap, and we've got to play them.
And Stoke is just Stoke, who took 6 points off of us this year. Imagine getting something out of both of those matches, we'd be above them. Think about that. Make you barf for a second.
Stoke have got -4 goals as well.
Oh, yeah, they're horrible.
Goal difference.
Yep. Anything else? You think we'll
No.
win? You think we'll win? Get a result at
I
Swansea?
I think we'll get a draw at Stoke. At
At
Swansea.
Swansea?
Even.
We're not playing Stoke anymore, Ped. We lost to them twice. I don't want to play them again.
Yeah, I think
Uh,
we'll get a point. I think we'll get a point.
right. You mentioned earlier about agents and everything
Yeah.
coming in telling possibly Ross Barkley that he needs to move on. There's been article in the press this week from Lukaku's agent, and there's
Mina Raiola.
yeah, he's more important, and he thinks he's more important than he is, or maybe he is more important than I think he is. But
Mm. Well, I mean, the story was obviously a week or so ago about him changing agents, and I think a few people got a little bit worried then when the name of Mina Raiola popped up. Simply because he's classed as one of these super agents.
super agent.
Super agent. Simply because of the plays that he's got on his books, basically, and anyone who's read Zlatan's book will know how much Zlatan loves this man, basically, because he is like Jerry Maguire, basically. He looks after players personally. You know,
He shows them the Schwan,
I thought it was the Quan.
Quan, whatever
The Quan.
it is.
Yeah, I know. I watched it the other
I was making fun of it.
day. He looks after them. You know, if you read Zlatan's books, Zlatan would be like, listen, I'm unhappy here, or the club would say to Zlatan, if you want to go somewhere, then it's up to you to sort that out, and he'd just go to the agent, and the agent would basically sort it out for him, and that's what it was. If he looked after him, and you know, he's got him, and he's got Mario Balotelli, you know, the picture is already sort of appearing for
Painted,
people.
yeah.
You know, he's got Paul Pogba as well, and Paul Pogba left Manchester United in sort of a bad way, and now he's got Lukaku. But I mean, what I would say is, I mean, before we go overboard, and let's talk about what the comments he made, is that Romelu Lukaku is a very, very good footballer, a very, very good footballer,
Young,
can score goals. Again, had a slow start to the season because of the World Cup. You know, another one. Now coming into it, unfortunately, you know, he's got that injury. And yet, do you know what? We were quite lucky to sign him when you think that there were a few other clubs knocking on his door. But, you know, he signed for us because he's seen it as part of his development and because of Roberto Martinez. And when we signed him, a lot of people said, you've overpaid. And we said, we have overpaid. We know we've overpaid. What it takes to sign Lukaku. You know, that's how we beat other clubs for his signing.
Mm-hmm.
So we done that. But I mean, I personally felt that we'd get 2 years out of Rom. I felt like we'd get 2 seasons, and then his best value would be after the Euros in 2016 in France.
Sure.
He would have had 3 seasons at the club, and then it probably would have been time to move on to a Champions League club. You know, you've got to be honest and say that.
Yeah, if we weren't consistently getting into Europe, yeah.
Exactly.
Which we did not this year.
So, Romelu Lukaku, he would have known that himself. And also, you know, an agent's not just there for looking after a player in a football way. He's there to look after all his other things that he does. Now, he's going to be. I think he's going to be a big name in football. I think he's going to have all the trappings of it. Like, you know, he's going to become someone that has like a big boot deal and has this sponsorship and that sponsorship. But at the moment, you don't really see any of that from Rom, which is quite refreshing from a lad of his age.
Right.
You know, so that's probably why, maybe another reason why he's got himself a better agent, someone who's got a lot more contacts with all these big companies and stuff. So from that point of view, that's fine. Now, obviously, Riola's come out and basically said, well, he has said to Belgian media, if I'd been his agent in the summer, I would not have let him sign for Everton. I would have got him a move to a bigger club. Now, I don't really have any problem with him saying that, because I think what he's saying is, number one, he was sort of bigging him up to Belgian media, which is understandable
Right.
because he's looking after his interests. He said he's better than Costa, and I think he will be better than Costa, long term.
Right. And that's the difference. Will be is different than is.
Yeah. Now, he's looking after his he's looking after his player there, and that's fair enough. I've got no problem with that. Hopefully, Lukaku's got a head on his shoulders and says, right, I'm going to give Everton one more year. It makes sense for the player, and it makes sense for the club.
Right.
And I think it makes sense for everybody. It's just whether this agent sort of tries to push him in a direction in the summer where he says, right, we've got Juventus, or we've got whoever.
You mean even Werder Bremen or
Wolfsburg are after him.
Yeah.
Now, I don't personally think we'll sell him, because we paid 28 million for him. I think we'll want a hefty return on that, and I don't think we'll get a hefty return on that till
after the Euros.
After the Euros, another season in the Premier League, selling him on our on our terms as well, because
right.
if Rom and his agent try and force a move, then clubs are maybe going to think they can get him cheaper because the player's unhappy, and I think that's a reason not to sell him. So don't forget, this guy's only his agent. He's not his brain. He's only his agent, and Rom seems a very level-headed lad who's done really well for himself so far in his career. He went to Chelsea quite early, but he was happy to go to somewhere like West Brom. He was happy to come to us. He was happy to stay with us, and
right.
see it as part of his development. And I think after the Euros, that might be the time when it's like, right, I'm ready for the Champions League. And I think as fans, we've got to sort of hold our hands up and say, we're not going to keep him forever. I mean, what happens after that is a different kettle of fish, because I would think if I was Everton, I would think, let's look at the Atletico Madrid model. They've had really big strikers, sold them at the peak, or before the peak, and then replaced them with players not quite at the peak, and then got 2 years out of them, and then sold them at the peak. And they've been using that model for about 5 or 6 years, and it hasn't done them any harm whatsoever. So I think that's what we've got to do. If we were to sell Lukaku 12 months' time, whatever, we can't just say, right, we've just sold Romelu Lukaku, now that's it. We've got to be in the market to get the next striker. But then that's a different story altogether. But
yeah.
But listen,
it'd be nice to be playing in a league that has only 2 teams and everybody else is utter crap. But I hear what you're saying with the Madrid model like that, but they've got a lot less, a lot more margin for error in where they play and in the competition that they're in. But yeah,
I mean that's a discussion for a different day. But what I mean, what I'm saying is that I think the club can't really sell Romelu Lukaku this summer, because if they did, I think there'd be massive issues with the fans.
Sure.
So, and I think as well, the lad deserves or certainly owes Roberto Martinez another 12 months. So at least Roberto Martinez can sort of say, well, listen, you'll go, and I'll have a replacement, and we'll all be happy. But if you try and force a move in the summer, then we're not all going to be happy, and that can follow you around for the rest of your career. Because we've seen this before, where players make moves and it's not the right time, and for one reason or another it doesn't happen, and then they have to sort of go back a step. And I think Rom's going to be a fantastic centre forward, a fantastic footballer, and he's going to play at one of the very, very best clubs out there. I could see him playing
in England.
I could see him playing for Real Madrid, no problem. I really could. I know a lot of people might laugh at
PSG.
I know a lot of people would laugh at that and say, well, his first touch and all that. But listen, it's his goal record that is the thing that matters.
Yeah.
And if he's playing at if he's playing at better teams and getting more chances, he's gonna be up there. He's gonna be up there. So and he's
Again,
gonna get
and
better.
playing against weaker competition.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's gonna have a very, very good career. I just hope that he gives us at least one more season and we get what we want out of him and he gets what he wants and we're all happy at the end of the day. I mean, don't get me wrong, none of us will be happy to lose a player like Romelu Lukaku, but it'll come with a nice bit of a reward and then we'll move on to the next thing. But hopefully that's not for another 12 months or so.
Sounds good. Anything else you want to mention on this sporadic podcast that we do?
Big shout out to the under-19s over there in the Dallas Cup and everyone who went out to support them in Dallas and
them coming out to watch the match with supporters. Brilliant.
Brilliant stuff. And they got beaten in the semi-finals by Katiba 1-0.
And the ref.
Very, very unlucky. So, but no, it looked like it was a really good experience and really nice for a lot of the Blues over there to go and be able to watch an Everton team and see some of the stars of the future as well.
Yep. Sounds good. Some really good goals. One from Ledson that comes to mind. The highlights. One match streamed on our website somehow, and was good to watch. But yeah, good stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Just would like to just mention some personal stuff. Start out on a not so great note. This past week, I lost my father-in-law, and just so would just have to go down to the memorial this coming weekend, and just wanted to let people listening know that that's one of the reasons why we've kind of been out of it a little bit, out of sync here. So. In memory of Robert Neil Massey Sr. and my wife's father. So that's one thing that's been going on with me. And then just this past Thursday was World Autism Awareness Day, and I've talked about it before. I've got a 5-year-old son on the spectrum, and he's very high functioning. And I'm wearing a shirt. So if you're watching on YouTube right now. Just a big advocate for autism awareness. So everybody, if you're not aware of just the vast differences in a spectrum disease like autism, go and check it out. There's tons of information out there. Autism Speaks is one organization that we support greatly. So just wanted to take a moment and mention a couple of things personally here. So everybody, thank you for tuning in. Much appreciated, and it's good to see Everton not struggling at the bottom of the table. It's brought some levity to be able to see the Blues get 3 points the past 3 matches, and hopefully it'll continue. And we'll just let the season ride out and move on to next year. So.
No, let me just mention one thing as well. Eric also has just got a brand new job, and he's now like a high-flying executive. Doing everything that he deserves to be doing, something that he should have deserved to be doing years ago, and he's now finally got it. So
I'm working on getting it, Ped.
So
working on getting it. So
the guy's done well. He's put all the hard work in there, and he's got to where he's got there in the end. So happy days.
Thanks. Yeah. New job. Bathroom remodel. The passing of my father-in-law. There's been a lot of things going on lately, and sometimes, unfortunately, life gets in the way of hobbies and doing things that you really enjoy doing, which this podcast is something that has brought a lot of escape to me from the day-to-day life, and so trust me, if we could do it more often, we would be. So everybody, thanks for sticking with us, and we'll be around more. So come on, you Blues, let's go.